Howdy, Carl. You there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Okay,
Thank you very much for being on tonight.
absolutely.
I'll read through our procedure here for this interview. The South Dakota Property Rights and Local Control Alliance, SDPRLCA, thanks you for participating in our 2026 primary legislative candidate video survey. As a nonpartisan grassroots organization, SDPRLCA is dedicated to protecting private property rights and maintaining local authority. Following the 2024 general election, where 65 of 66 South Dakota counties voted no on Referred Law 21, voters are eager to hear where the 2027 legislative class stands on these core issues. So what we do is let you introduce yourself for a minute and a half, and then we've got 5 questions of 2 minutes each, and then a 2-minute closing. Upon completion of the video survey, the candidate will log off the call. So you have you've had the questions in advance, and the candidates receive a specific set of 5 questions. And the public record recordings will be posted in their entirety on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and website. So, Carl, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your background, your connection to your district, and most importantly, what conviction or event caused you to run for the legislature initially.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to participate. My name is Senator Carl Perry. I'm the Assistant Majority Leader for the Senate. I believe in faith, family, friends, freedom. I spent 3 terms in the House. I'm the Vice Chair of the State Affairs in the Senate for 2 years. Commerce and Energy, I've been on that for 8 years. I sat through all the different discussions on eminent domain and land and property rights. And then I've been on Health and Human Services for a total of 6 years, retirement laws for 6 years, Senate and joint procedures for 2 years. I was on taxation even for a couple of years, but I've been involved in a lot of different things. But the most important thing is that I'm also involved in my community, and I'm really interested in property rights. I've been on the floor stating that I'm for property rights, and I've been in my voting for property rights. And I think that's really the test is, anybody can say I'm for something, but do they actually vote for you? And then I've done some things with early things at the Capitol with Capitol Commission and Catacomb Caucus. They would both have early meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday, and also do evening studies on Tuesday and Wednesday. But I run the Catacomb Caucus. The Catacomb Caucus is a group of individuals that have been there for over 60 years, and it got its name Catacomb because it used to be in the basement of the Capitol, and it's moved up to the executive office or the governor's office or governor's conference room. And we'd meet weekly, and people, the Speaker of the House actually plays his guitar, and people sing with him. We share testimony, we share a prayer, we share Bible study. We do that for a half hour right in the state capital of South Dakota.
Well, that's neat. Uh, so the first question, um, Carl, is district specific. What do you identify as the primary property rights issue in your district, and what is your single most serious concern regarding it? Resource depletion, loss of local control, or unintended consequences?
That's a good question. The thing that is really important, Ken Blanchard once said, none of us are as smart as all of us together. And that's why I like to share my time and energies with you guys. But I think we're going to have a presence for large scale and infrastructure with, I think, data centers. Last year, Senate Bill 177. I voted no on that, and it lost by one vote. And I was confronted at a Cracker Barrel that I shut down the data processing center. And I said, you know, you really can't do that single-handedly. It takes 18 people to make something as a yes, or it takes 18 people as a no. And I was one of those 18. And so I wanted them to know that I was part of all that. But being forced into agreements that affect property use are things that we just absolutely can't have because of the value of the property and the value of the people and the value of their life and also the value of the future legacy. We have people like Ed Fishback. It's had over 100 years on his properties, and Jared Bosley, he's had over 117 years on his properties. We need to maintain properties.
Very good. Thank you, Carl. Question 2 is an action plan. What specific legislative action or policy change would you champion to address this issue?
It's always interesting to be able to answer questions that are kind of philosophical in statement, but we need to keep eminent domain laws. We need to make sure that we have clean public benefit if we're going to do anything different, and limit the amount of things that can happen as far as for private gain. And what I mean by that is we need to have a fair market value on the things that we're doing. We also have to have compensation for any damages, long-term, short-term, or whatever would happen with anything that would move us forward with any property. We need to promote transparency, and we need to have local input on everything that we do. And we need to provide probably some really good protection and some cost recoveries for our farmers and our ranchers and anybody that would have an eminent domain situation where they're forced to do something they didn't want to do.
Okay, very good. Number 3, core components. Property rights involve the right to possess, control, exclude, enjoy, and dispose. How is the right to enjoy at risk from state mandates in your district, and how will you protect it?
You're asking some pretty good questions, but the right of enjoyment today, tomorrow, and always is what I would say. We need to be able to make sure that we are able to enjoy our properties today, into the future, and into the great future. And we need to make sure that we have things in place to protect us. We need to have things that do not block ourselves from noise, from visual, from access, or any other type of restriction. We need to have require clear, measurable benefits before anything is done. We need to make sure that mandates on land or property are not enacted without due process. We need to keep constant and a visual focal point, and we need to provide a sunset and a renewable or reevaluation period if anything is ever done when it comes to property rights. We shouldn't just sign property rights over and make it so that it's something that lasts forever. Things should be reconsidered as time goes on.
Okay, thank you. Question 4 is on eminent domain. Under what specific circumstances, if any, do you believe eminent domain should be used for projects owned by private corporations?
Well, only in the case where there is a clear and definite and a direct participation for public use. And what I mean by that is when we deal with public use, it would be something that would be unmistakably for the public, no reversible or alternative things that would be available. We would need to have adequate compensation for the people. We would need to have damage resolution and requirements, and for now and into the future. And we also must recognize all the legal rights of the landowners at all times. This is one of those things where I know that it requires attorneys to get things done, but I also know that good laws can make good differences. And saying no to to private gain for uh, eminent domain is really a right step.
Okay, thank you. Question number 5 is local control. Describe a scenario in which local control is not enough protection.
I would say yes on this if it's driven by a higher source or higher level, like state or federal. But I think it's one of those things where we have things that happen with multi-counties where sometimes an eminent domain may be important, or an interstate or an infrastructure type program where something like that may be important. But basically transition lines or pipelines for gas or natural products like that may be important. We haven't had to really implement eminent domain in most cases, because in most cases, people understand that the things that are necessary for success are necessary for success. It's not always easy to be able to say exactly, how to protect the landowner property rights, but the most important thing is that we keep the landowner property rights as a major part of our consideration. And I will continue to support the protection of landowner property rights, period. And I guess, can I give you a Jefferson quote before I quit?
Sure.
All right. The whole of the land belongs to the people, but basically the individual has the right to its use and the enjoyment of his or her own property. We understand that the land belongs to the people, but the individual land belongs to the person. And they need to have the opportunity to do the best thing with that as possible.
Very good. Thank you very much, Senator Perry. So in closing, as we head toward the June 2nd primary, it's vital that voters know how to reach their potential representatives. For our final 2 minutes, please let the folks in District 3 know how they can reach you directly, where they can pick up a sign to show their support, how they can join your team as a volunteer, and how they can donate.
Actually, the screen that I have up here is superb. As the candidate for District 3 Senate, it's carlperry.org, kept it simple. And it's on Facebook. It's facebook.com/carlperry.org. And my email is cperry91@abe, which is short for Aberdeen, .midco.net. And my phone number, I give it out to all kinds of people, and that's my cell number, 605-626-1876. And what I plan to do is always listen to both sides of issues. I plan to be accessible and available, and I plan to basically continue to stay active in the community. I am what they call a community leader, and I have a strong business background, and I've been married to my wife for 51 years. We have a boy that's 49 that lives in California, son that's 45 that lives in Texas, and they both went to school here in Aberdeen and graduated with our public school system. Our signs that we have in Aberdeen basically say, rooted in Aberdeen, experienced in Pierre. The reason that I think I'm a really good candidate is that I am part of the community in the past and in the present. And I'm also experienced in Pierre now for a total of 8 years. And District 3 is a group that works hard together, and we also work with 23, and we also work with 1. But the most important thing is I want to thank you for listening in today, because this is extremely important to tell people what you can do, what you want to do. And I am open to any questions that you might have, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much, um, Senator Perry, for visiting with us tonight. And I hope you good luck in your campaign.
Well, thank you for the good wishes. But you know, this is one of those things where we can't just go by thinking that we're going to do good. We have to go out and do the job. I like to see the people, visit with the people, and I'll continue to do that. We only have, I think, 28 days now, and things go really quick. And every day I'm just going to look at each day as though I need another 5 votes to be able to win. And I'll keep doing that every single day. And when we get to the end, I know that I'll be giving it 100%.
Very good. Well, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you for having me.